But we're starting with another day of rough weather for millions of Canadians. A nasty winter storm continues to head east, and it's hammering Ontario and Quebec with snow and freezing rain, and is expected to reach Nova Scotia later on today. Large parts of eastern Canada are under weather alerts. Environment Canada says up to 25 centimeters of snow is possible in parts of Quebec, along with winds up to 70 kilometers an hour. It's the second day the storm is lashing Ontario, and utility company Hydro One says tens of thousands of customers are currently without power. Here's a look at Toronto this hour. After a pretty balmy night for late December, the mercury is dropping once again, and it could turn yesterday's rain into skating rinks, so be careful on the roads. And Trisha Kindleman is joining us now to follow all of it.
Yeah. Starting to see some flurries fly in that live shot there.
What a mess.
So it's moving in right on time. We were expecting it to come in a little bit later in the morning, and it is going to last right through the afternoon, likely into the evening across much of Ontario and Quebec. And then it is expected to make its way continuing east towards the east coast. But let's talk about what we're going to see sort of across Ontario and Quebec today, because it varies wildly depending on where people might be located. There are parts of Ontario that are expecting to see between 15 and 20 millimeters of rain. And then you have other spots in Georgian Bay and Lake Huron that are expecting between 25 and 45 centimeters of snow. Other areas calling for up to potentially 60 centimeters of snow. So a lot of moisture, a lot of precipitation caught in this system here. We can bring up a map that will sort of give you a sense of the areas that are impacted. Again, you can see the green, the moisture there making its way through. And those yellow areas across Ontario and Quebec are where you're going to see most of that rainfall, that freezing rain. Also expecting to see some really strong winds in some of those areas. Then those orange zones that you see there, that's where you're going to see some more of that snowfall gathering, some of those really high amounts potentially collecting in areas across there. Now, what does this mean also at this very, very busy travel season? Well, there are three major airports that are under these alerts and warnings right now: Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa. Now, if you do take a look at some of those airports right now, you'll see cancellations and delays across the board. This here that you're looking at is from Air Canada. This is sort of one of their travel alert that they have sent out today. So any customers that are traveling in or out of these airports are being advised that they should be prepared for some potential travel delays on their trip, being told to check their flight status before leaving. And of course, really any travel across Canada, as soon as you start to see those impacts, particularly when it hits Pearson, that's where you start to see some major sort of ripple effects going across the country. So anyone who might have travel plans in the next day or so, you're going to want to check that flight status. WestJet also has posted about the inclement weather, and they are actually offering no charge changes and that sort of thing right now. So if you're traveling WestJet and you have some flexibility, you might want to reach out. You could save yourself a pretty frustrating travel day by just bumping your flight by a day or two and hanging out at home, avoiding the weather if you can.
Yeah, good advice if you can do it.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Trisha, thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.